Morning all, thanks for joining me again in a slightly warmer garage than it was the other day, so might be a slightly longer video. Here today I'm showing you my extended legs on my longer Ray5 10 watt, but it will also fit the 20 watts because they share the same frame. And if your diode laser is built on aluminium extrusions, you should be able to adapt the legs, or at least the legs and the design will give you an idea how you can adapt your frame. But what are we looking at here? So let me get my pointy stick and I'm going to show you what I've done. These legs now here on the frame and the two at the back are not standard. I've increased the height of the legs by 30mm. And you'll notice that my screen is no longer touching the baseboard, and that becomes important in a minute. If you notice the legs, if I put the standard one here, you can see the legs are not as wide as the original. The original, if I put it on the floor, is there. I'm looking at this angle here and the bottom here. If I raise it up, now you can see I've got a 30mm gap there, and this gap is bigger. So what that allows me to do is very easily slide my honeycomb bed in and out from the front, and that gives me, well, quite a few advantages. One, it's easy to remove from the front, because I'm sure we've all been there where you're trying to get your honeycomb out from working above the laser. You have to push your gantry all the way back, and then the laser module you have to normally raise up, because the honeycomb bed will always catch on the nozzle, of the laser. But I don't have that problem now. Another thing you'll notice is that I've got a gap here. So I've got a fresh air gap under my honeycomb. At the moment it's 9mm, and I'm only using stacks of 3mm ply, or MDF I think that actually is, to give me a good airflow underneath the honeycomb bed, which helps for smoke extraction. And it also allows me to easily look underneath with my safety glasses on and through red acrylic, that I can see whether the laser is cutting all the way through. So there's another advantage. The other advantage is when loading material now. Here's a sheet that's, I don't know, nearly 400 by 300 I think. All I do now is slide this underneath. Doing it two-handed would make all the difference. And there you go, I'm ready to go. There's no more trying to slip the material in from the top, pushing the gantry all the way back and trying to slide it under the nozzle. Those days are gone, and they were bad days. I'm having good days now. Again, when the work is cut, all I do, no need to adjust the height of the laser, because I have 3mm from the bottom of my nozzle to the work. All I do now is slide this out. If my parts are dropped out, they are on the honeycomb bed. If not, I just tap it and the parts will drop out. So extraction of cut material is easier, extracting your cut pieces is easier, and the biggest advantage is that when I want to extract the honeycomb bed, all I do is put it forward, make sure there's no parts trapped in the honeycomb bed, which today there isn't. And while I've got it out here, one important thing to do is where you've got the bracing metal rods on the honeycomb bed, it's important that you check regularly that no small parts have caught in there, because if you're lasering different parts throughout the day and small parts get caught in there, you need to avoid the laser beam keep going over those little bits caught in there, because that could create a fire. And as we're talking about fire, now I have no problem cleaning my bed. So if we just zoom in a little bit, you can see I've got all these parts, little tiny parts of their MDF. which have dropped through my honeycomb bed. Now all I can do, slowly push your gantry backwards slightly so you've got a bit of room. All I do, get a straight edge, and my bed is now clear. Scoop that up, it's in my hand, and I can put that in a bin. So I'm going to go upstairs and we'll talk about the design of the legs. What I've got to do now, I've got an ecosystem where this frame, let me just zoom out again. This frame, I laser on top of a porcelain tile, which is 600 square, and my laser, the 10 watt longer Ray5, easily sits on the frame. And this frame, I cannot move it. It's connected to the tile. I can have the aluminium plate underneath, but as you may know, or you may not be aware, aluminium is around, I think, 98% reflective. So once the laser beam has gone through my honeycomb bed, which is 20mm, I've got a 9mm gap. The laser beam is still strong enough that it can reflect off the aluminium if you choose to use the aluminium plate, and you do need something, otherwise if it's just wood it will burn, because the laser is still fairly strong and it will mark. So that's that. The ecosystem I have, I'll show you on the screen, I'll show you upstairs on the design. I have lock-in legs or lock-in rings which I've masticed onto my floor tile, so I can pick this laser up, I can bring it out, I can do any maintenance I need on it, and then I can put it back and it drops into laser cut out of plywood or MDF, and now my laser is back in the same position. So this is the beginning of my ecosystem for making the frame or my laser easier to use. The next part I'm going to design, I need to get away from the stack of these pieces of MDF, and this is where I was doing some matrix material testing. I'm going to make some form of bracketry which now locates on the parts I've already designed, that when I slide my matrix, my honeycomb matrix in, it will locate in the right position. And that's gonna come shortly, because using these is really annoying because they keep one, unstacking. I should glue them together, and secondly, when I slide the honeycomb in, it's not in the same position. So I'm going to make some sort of jig arrangement that locates on the locking mechanism I've glued onto the tile, so everything will be in a permanent place. But I'm going to be conscious that I don't want to reduce the width of the, let's do a tape measure. I don't want to reduce the width of the gap too much, so the gap between the legs at the moment is roughly 475. So that allows a 400 matrix, which is actually 440. 445 is my matrix. That allows, if I just get rid of these stacking pieces for the moment to demonstrate. So this allows me to slide in the matrix. If I put it hard up on the left hand side, I've still got 25mm clear, so I've got an inch clearance. That's ½ inch either side, so I can slide that in, drop it down. I then have to position that, if I'm doing a full cut 400/400, I'd have to position the honeycomb to allow me to cut the full 400. So without my future honeycomb locking mechanism product, whatever I produce, it's just time consuming and not very convenient. So that's going to be coming. So let me just take you off the stand and I'll give you a close-up of the legs. So this is just a U-shaped piece of material with 4 holes, so you could screw it down if you wanted to, and all that does, if I just lift the frame up and down, it allows the legs just to drop in, doing this one-handed, and I know that the laser is going to be in the same position. So if you look around the back, the rear of the frame has vertical strengthening sections to prevent any flexing of the plywood sections. The parts are in 2 parts. This is 2 parts of 3mm ply, and the front section has a bigger circle for the head of the existing bolts to be reused, so there is no need to buy new bolts. All I do is put a washer in there, and these are just snugged up. Again, don't have to be tight, they just need to be snugged up. So if you look at the back ones, you may be able to see there, if I use this, you can just see the vertical sections. There's one there and one there, and that's helping brace the parts to stop it moving. And I'll show you some pictures on the screen, and that's that. The frame for the laser module is again in 2 pieces. You do need to buy 1 bolt, and I'll show you the part on the screen in a second. There's a little bit of engraving on the front panel to allow the wire of the antenna, the wireless antenna, to sink down, and on the back, if I swivel you round, just here you can see the IR sensor is just here poking through. So that's my skinny legs for my longer Ray5. They easily locate onto locking feet, so once you extract the laser for cleaning and maintenance, it's easy to get back in the same position as you extracted. Let me know what you think. Well, thanks for getting to the end of that video. I really do appreciate you watching, and if you do happen to purchase the legs, that helps me develop more products for my laser, which is probably the same as your laser if you're watching this video, or gives you a great idea how you can adapt my designs to fit on your laser. Anyway, that's Andy wishing you a good afternoon, and as always, continue making happy smoke. Thanks for making it to the end of my videos. If I've earned your respect and your trust, perhaps you would consider subscribing to my channel. It really does make a massive difference. And maybe you would like to watch some of the videos popping up on the screen now. Let me know what you think. Cheers for now.